How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Can you hear me? Is everything good? I think we should be good. We'll wait here just for a minute while people file in. But yeah, I mean, yesterday was a rough day in the market. Today it looks a little bit better. It's getting off to a better start. The Nasdaq's moving up on the open. Bitcoin, it's not really moving too much so far, but we shall see. If you guys don't mind, as you're coming in, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Gets this out to more people. Also, if you are not subscribed already, feel free to hit subscribe. FH, how you doing? Fozzy, hope or Foz 18, hope you're doing well as well. All right. So, we have Bitcoin doing a little bit of something on the market open, moving up a couple $100, moving right back down the next minute. Some volatility here. By the way, just have to say this right off the bat. If you do want to trade cryptocurrency, you can trade over on Margex. It's the top link underneath the video. You can long the market, you can short the market. There's no KYC, and you don't need a VPN. But let's zoom out a little bit. Yesterday was a rough day in the markets for the stock market and for crypto. As you can see, we're at about 58,000, went all the way down to 55.5. And then the day before that, we were at 59,000 and went down to 57,000. Just a week and a half ago, we were up at 64,000, 65,000. So, well, it does seem like we have moved down quickly. The thing is, we can move back up quickly. Let me change one thing real quick. Just need to make sure there's a slow mode in here, just so that we don't have spammers. All right, cool. Now, hope you're all doing well. I see more people coming in the chat. We'll do a couple minutes of questions towards the end. But yeah, so far, Bitcoin just in that $56,000 range, still in the same, broader range we've seen between that 49,000 and 74,000. It seems like it's been a while, a very long time since 74,000. I think I was actually on vacation when we hit that, and now it's almost 6 months later. But we do have some news from the broader markets, as you can see here. The Nasdaq is down about 0.34% today. It was down 0.7% on the market open. Now climbing up a little bit. SPX is down just slightly. Dow is up just slightly. Let's look at some individual stocks and some individual cryptos. Then we'll move over to some of the news in the market. We have the VIX up 6% today after it was up, I think, around 20% yesterday. MP Materials up 3.5%. NEO looks like some electric companies, electric stocks, electric car companies up here today. Tesla also up 2.3%. Lucid, General Motors up a little bit. Let's see what's down. CleanSpark down again. Palantir down 3%. Palantir's done quite well this year, though. Coinbase down. Apple's down a little bit. Okay, so overall, some tech stocks down a little bit. Some car stocks up a little bit. But overall, not a ton of volatility compared to yesterday. Yesterday, we did get some big selling from the ETFs. Fidelity sold almost 3,000 Bitcoin, which is their second largest outflow ever. Maybe the second, no, not the second largest outflow ever from any ETF, because I'm sure GBTC had some larger outflows before that. But yeah, big amount of selling, 1.5% of their fund in one day. GBTC had a 900 or 875 Bitcoin day. They hold 225,000 Bitcoin now. We had BlackRock hold, so they did not sell anything. They didn't buy anything. We do have some news of Cantor Fitzgerald saying Bitcoin will now be regulated by the CFTC and will be treated as a financial asset. They will pave the way for all TradFi companies going headfirst into Bitcoin. Let me play this for you. Actually, let me just make sure that you can see or you can hear the audio. I have to do one thing real quick. And we will get to some questions in a bit. Let me just make sure you can hear this. Perfect. Should be good to go. Let me play this for you. This is the same guy that I was just talking about.
I guess the easiest way to get a clear view of where Bitcoin is going over the next 5 years is take a look at the last 5. Right? The last 5, Bitcoin has been an outsider in the finance business, but coming closer and closer and closer. Right now, there's an ETF just starting to go a little bit mainstream, maybe a toe in the water of mainstream, but banks still can't clear it. Banks still can't transact in it. Banks still can't custodian it. Banks still won't transact in it, and they won't finance it yet. I think people misunderstand traditional financial service companies. They want to transact in Bitcoin. They want new asset classes to transact in. That's just a good thing, but they need the regulator to say it's okay. Right now, today, right? If a bank were to hold your Bitcoin, they would have to set aside their own money equal to that amount in sort of like in a jail. I mean, you'd say, so, well, that's crazy. The answer is that's why they don't hold it. But if you let them hold it, if the regulatory environment was good, you will see all the traditional financial service companies, the big banks, the big brokerage companies, they're all going to go headfirst into Bitcoin pond. That's what's going to happen, and it's coming. It's a slow, steady process, but eventually there's going to be a CFTC chair who says, you know what, Bitcoin is a financial asset, and we're going to treat it as such. And when that happens, you're going to see Bitcoin move in a very, very strong, positive direction. So that's why I'm a fan of Bitcoin. It's going to go much higher. It always bounces around like any other financial asset, but ultimately over the next 5 years, as it gets invited into this party, up we go.
All right. So a good explanation there. Obviously, banks can't do what the government doesn't really want them to do. They're backed by the government. So they have to be pretty careful there. We do have some news from AP Abacus too, who constantly gives us updates on what's happening behind the scenes. And he said recently that Wells Fargo's coming. He said that they want Bitcoin. They want to push Bitcoin. And we just got news as well. Let me just pull this up. Let's see if I can get it going. We have news that the Bank of Canada is now cutting key interest rates. Let me do one thing real quick. Okay. So Zero Hedge says Bank of Canada cuts key interest rates by 20 or key interest rate by 25 basis points to 4.25, matching estimate. Let's look at the Fed rate monitor tool. So we do have, big banks eventually pushing for Bitcoin. We have rates coming down. This has actually changed a decent amount from last week. Last week we had a 34% chance of a 50 basis point cut. Now we have 40% chance. And actually, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before. It shows the percent likelihood of certain rate cuts. Obviously, it can change a lot. Right? I mean, there was almost 100% chance, then there's almost a 0% chance, now closer to a 60% chance. But this does give us some indication as to where the Fed is heading. These are usually pretty right on. So it will be fascinating to watch. In just 2 weeks from today, the Fed's going to start cutting rates, and then people are going to be like, oh, crap, I'm not getting as much at the bank, especially after a couple of these. The first one, maybe people don't notice, but the second one, when rates start coming down on houses too, and then when we see less and less coming in terms of interest and banks, it should be interesting. Japan is going to drop the maximum tax rate on Bitcoin and crypto from 55% to 20%, turning a little bit more pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin. Now, obviously, you could still buy Bitcoin and crypto for long term and try to wait it out, but it would be very hard to feel good about paying 55% capital gains tax on any asset. So this will definitely make people more interested in buying. Bitcoin dominance moving down a little bit today. can see it down to 57.3. It was at 57.7, kind of just tapping at that upper level. 57.7 is the highest that we've seen. Let's see what is moving up and down today. So let's just reload the page here. Bitcoin down at 56.4, down 3.5% today. Again, if you do want to trade crypto, if you want to long or short the market, there's that link to Margex. But as I said, Bitcoin down 3.5%, Ethereum only down 2.8%. It did make a pretty big move down yesterday, but now down 2.7%, BNB down 5.5%, Solana down 2%, down to 129. It was a little bit lower earlier today. Let's see where it went down to. Yeah, it went down to 124, now up at 125, 129. XRP down 2%, Dogecoin down 3%, Tron down just 1%, Toncoin down 7%. Toncoin's had a rough month so far, down 24%, with Bitcoin down just 7% or so. Cardano down to almost 30 cents, down 2%. Avalanche down 2%. Okay, let's just sort by the highest 24-hour. Starknet up 3.4%. Helium, HNT. I saw someone saying Florida adopted HNT for mobile use, $20 a month. Yeah, if you want, I actually have a link to it underneath the video. I've been working with them for 6 months or a year. Probably in between those, probably 8 or 9 months. I've been working with Helium Mobile, and yeah, you get $20 phone lines, and they use T-Mobile towers, which is pretty sweet. Uniswap up a little bit, Immutable, but then we turn red. Okay, red redemption. We have Thorchain down 10%, Notcoin down 9%, Cosmos down 8%. Let's go by the last month. What is up the most? Helium, HNT actually up the most, 88% up. Sui up 28%. We have Sats, 1,000 Sats, which I don't think is actually connected to Sats at all. If I remember right, I was just looking at this the other day. Phantom up 33%. Popcat, Aave. Okay. Now Dogs down the most, 36%. Not Dogs is newer, I believe. Toncoin, Brett, Bonk, Celestia, Jupiter. Some of these only down a couple percent. I'm not sure why they're showing up here or even up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Ethereum down 18%. That is rough. Polygon down a lot too. Overall, yeah, a pretty bloody market. A pretty bad market right now, but it's not the worst. You know, we've been through worse. We're still up 4x, almost 4x from the bottom, 3.5x. And as Quentin says here, on average, Bitcoin peaks 480 days after the halving. We're currently 137 days after the Bitcoin halving. Stay calm. Yep. So we still have a lot of time left, and you can see it, right? Like the fact is, right now, the search terms for Bitcoin are way down, way down. I think the lowest point that they've been this year, even like this video, right? 170 people watching right now. 2 weeks ago? It was 10 times this. So yeah, things are getting a little bit boring. Things are getting a little bit bloody, and people step away. All right, let's see if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions. Pokey says, my brother used to watch you years ago, and now I watch you. That's awesome. Afternoon from the UK. Awesome. Good to see you in here. North Texas. Morning, Sam. Morning. Thanks for the correction. This is a painful wait. I feel you. A lot of people saying that they are sick of buying, and they're just sitting on their hands. And I get that, right? If you got to a certain goal, or if you're going to stop buying by a certain date. Now, if you were looking to continue to add, especially if you had extra cash flow coming in each week, every other week, you know, these are decent levels to do it, seems like. Especially when we're down, 30% from the peak? 25%? Let's look here. Down right now about 24%. Right. NASDAQ near all-time highs, S&P near all-time highs, which could scare some people, right? On one hand, you look at Bitcoin and you think, oh, it's undervalued versus the NASDAQ and S&P 500, which are all-time highs. Or you look at it and you say, well, if the NASDAQ or S&P 500 fall 20% or 10% or something, then yeah, there could be a little bit more pain. But either way, if you're just in accumulation mode or waiting mode, nothing really changes. Even if you're in buying mode, well, accumulation mode is buying mode. The only thing that changes is if you've been looking to sell, right? You might have to wait a little bit longer. Why does anyone fear this? We should be happy at the opportunity to buy. Yeah. Agreed. Unless you're someone that's looking to sell. I know some people that have been like waiting to sell. They've had money in a portfolio or crypto in a portfolio, and they're looking maybe to buy a new house or something like that. Or they've been looking to roll out. They were going very heavy on crypto, maybe even too late into this, right? And then they're like, okay, well, I want to move this over to real estate or stocks or something. 48 hours till Friday. True. Nothing truer has been said here today. 21 million was liquidated Bitcoin at 57.1. I was looking at literally seconds before it popped off. Gotta love it. Hi, Sam. Good to see you doing another live. Regards from England. Tim, good to see you in here. Let's weed out the scared people, weed out the scammers. True, as the price goes down and there are less people paying attention, scammers are less likely to continue to scam. Right? There will always be scammers, but there are less of them. Do I know what's going on with Helium Mobile? Well, obviously, like we looked at a second ago, the token's doing quite well. I haven't seen any token news. I do work with Helium Mobile. I work with the phone side. I believe the crypto side's a little bit different. They're a little bit cautious about like interweaving them too much for regulatory reasons. But I mean, the phone plan itself is awesome. But yeah, I haven't looked at what's happening with the token necessarily, like why it's pumping up. But I do have a little bit because you can turn on location services when you have Helium Mobile, and then you get paid in tokens or rewards in tokens. Bobby, we are Sam. Appreciate we are all Sam. If we're all George. Sam is a goat. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Okay. How about not letting them custodianize? Let them come in much, much later when we need BTC pump from 1 million to 10 million. I'm guessing you're talking about the banks. Yeah, I mean, some of the financial institutions are obviously already in. A lot of banks don't allow you to buy Bitcoin yet. Like just in branch. That I think will be a crazy time when you walk into your bank and you can move some money over to Bitcoin. We'll see when that happens. The new cost to mine 1 Bitcoin is now inching close to 72K now since the halving. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are being priced out of even mining Bitcoin. I saw a big $100 million company go bankrupt the other day, Bitcoin miner. Please don't fade Alchemy. Never heard of it. Hey, Sam, do you think we can accumulate alts until January 2025? Ray, good to have you in here. I mean, you can obviously do what you like. I think with dominance so high, I've been super pro Bitcoin, 80% of my portfolio in Bitcoin for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. It's basically since the bear market. I just bought Bitcoin during the bear market. You can see it leveling off though. Like I like Bitcoin partly because it takes a little bit less research. Like I can follow Bitcoin. I know it's happening and I don't have to watch, 18 different indicators on 18 different cryptos or something like that. And there's just more liquidity, all that kind of stuff. But if you're really trying to get outperformance, yeah, I mean, with Bitcoin basically seeming to level off on dominance, if you are trying to get into riskier stuff, I would think that you could accumulate while Bitcoin dominance is up in this range, like 55 to 60%. Keep in mind the ETFs might change how Bitcoin dominance, occurs this semester, this run, just because those ETFs aren't going to shed and then go buy Solana or cat meme coin, whatever it is, right? But we will have people that are invested in Bitcoin that probably move over to those other assets. But I think each cycle is a little bit different, so you just have to be careful. What did they cut by? So the Bank of Canada cut by 25 basis points. Where is that? I might not even have it up anymore. But Bank of Canada cut by 25 basis points. Someone says, turn the chat to 30 seconds. This is too slow. Okay, I'll change it up. I just didn't want the bots. But yeah, I don't think 30 versus 60 will really make a difference. You should be good now. You might have to reload the page, though. Didn't the beginning of July and August take huge dumps? Yes, yes. Actually, worse dumps than this. Beginning of August, we actually went from the Bitcoin Nashville event where we were up at 70,000, July 29, and then August 5, we were at 49,000. So I mean, that is a huge change. Let's look at that. And for some people, that's almost better. 30% drop over a week. They'd rather have that than like this up to 64 and then down to 56, because at least there's some volatility there. And then June was the same thing, where we went from 71.7 down to 53.5. That was a couple weeks though. That's just a month of going down. Yeah, so August and then really just June to July was all crap there. Does Helium offer phones as well? No, I don't think so. They have hotspots and then they have their phone plan. Someone Ray says sell before it goes lower, buy before it goes higher, or watch for free like me. Jolt's jobs opening any second. Let's see if there's any news on that. Jolt's job opening 7.6 million expected, 8.1. Recession confirmed. All right, interesting. Let's just pull this up. Prior was 8.18. Let's see if there's any volatility in the market. Pull up the NASDAQ. Yeah, I mean, we were up at negative 0.2, went all the way down to negative 0.9. Seems like the VIX has moved down a little bit. It's not, it's just 2% up right now. Let's see what's down. Coinbase, CleanSpark, MicroStrategy, Apple. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, another recession indicator that I'm sure people are paying attention to. Hey, Sam, what's the exact date of the US rate cut? I believe September 18. Of course, we don't know for sure that they're cutting rates on, but that's when the Fed meeting is for it. Thoughts on Matic to Pole? Honestly, I haven't paid attention to Matic too much since last cycle. Actually, I'm not a big holder of Matic anymore. I feel like there are just so many layer twos. It's hard to keep up. And also, I'm not sure it really makes sense to, as opposed to just buying the underlying asset like Ethereum. But even Ethereum, I'm not huge on. I mean, I think it's my second largest holding, but it's a tenth of what I have in Bitcoin. 48 days until the Bitcoin bull run starts. Yeah, it might be. Canada has the world's 10th biggest economy. Yeah, I mean, they're massive. They're cutting rates. Enjoy your updates from the UK. Appreciate it, Peter. Thank you for watching. We're going down, y'all. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin down at 56.4. Thoughts on Caspa? I actually have someone that's coming on the channel later to talk about Caspa later today. So, I mean, I'm bullish on Caspa, but do I think it's going to be like the fix-all for everything? Not necessarily. What do you think about Sui? Honestly, I haven't looked at Sui in a while. I don't hold any SUI though, but you know, if I had to hold SUI, I wouldn't be too mad about it. I'd say it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'm fairly bullish on it, but I don't have any. Jack Daniels, thanks for coming. Always good to have you. Casper, Sol, long term. I'd say Sol, but Casper's, I mean, so much smaller. You could just hold both, but I think Sol's less risky. I do not hold Kubik at all. All right. Well, I think we're all good. I think we went through a lot of the news. Appreciate you all being here. Continue the ride. It's looking like we're in this 6-month period, a little bit longer, but we should get some volatility in the fall. All right, we should hopefully move up in the fall. That's typically what happens in bull years. So we'll see. But I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for watching. Hope you're all doing well and you're riding this out. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.